first thing I need to tell you is this is a truly an overview meeting of kind of the idea that's kicking around in my head and what I have laid out of what we would like to see happen to the bookstore and how to go co-op. And the biggest thing to know is that I'm not going to hit a lot of questions that you might actually have, such as financial information, how much money do we make, how much is it for a share, all the things that are all the minutia of how a co-op works. We're not going to go there other than that real broad paintbrush of how things are looking to go. Once you have some interest, we're going to hand out a survey at the end with your level of interest, concern, commitment, and then we'll go to the next meeting with that if there is another meeting. We have to get probably at least about 50% interest to actually go forward with this plan. So this, like I said, is an exploratory meeting.
Is the door open?
Gotcha. There's one seat back there or one right here? Awesome. So again, thank you for coming, and let me go ahead and get started. I'm first going to tell you, for those who haven't been a long-time customer or new to the area, our store has been open since 2005. I bought the building back when the city was just finishing up with all their renovations down here. At that time, they spent about a year and a half redoing the streets and putting pretty cobblestones and making things pretty down here. And the businesses that have been here since then that went through it, if it pretty much didn't put you out of business, all the construction and all the, you know, the crazy of making things beautiful, then pretty much you're here to stay. So we still have I think 4 or 5 businesses that have been here for the long haul. We started right at that end. We bought the building from an antique store in the tea room, and we basically, when I bought it, I just wanted an office. I did not mean to open a bookstore. I was selling books online from home and just really needed a place to work. I looked at the rents in the area and decided it was just cheaper to buy the building than it would be to go ahead and rent something. So I bought the building. I felt like, well, I'll just have my office in the back, and anything that didn't sell online, well, maybe somebody would wander in here and buy it. And lo and behold, I was just a little bit off on that. Everybody wanted to be a bookstore. So the shelves filled up very quickly, and before we knew it, we were a bookstore. And we were actually profitable within 3 months, which is very unusual for a small business. So apparently people still want to read books. The world has changed over that time period. So this is our 14th year in business. We have seen a lot of things come and go. We've seen the town go from doing well, thriving, to basically what you'd almost call a ghost town. And in the last year, we have finally gotten, instead of planning to make things better, we're actually doing that. So the good news is that we're here and we're profitable. We've expanded a lot, but 14 years later, my life has changed a lot. My husband, who's in the back, and I, most of you know, had a large opportunity to lose weight and become healthy in 2010, and now we went on to help other people get healthy. So now we are also health coaches along with being bookstore owners, and my husband got to retire, and that is a wonderful thing. But he's been retired about a year, and all the traveling we've been talking about and doing things for fun, unfortunately, haven't come to fruition yet because I'm running a bookstore. So I'm just taking the opportunity to retire. But I love my store so much, I don't want to see anything happen to it. We have probably between 7,000 and 8,000 people in our database. Our customers come in every day and with a frown on their face, just, oh, you can't close. And I don't want to close, I really, really don't. But what I do want to do is move on to the next level of my life, my next chapter in my novel that maybe I'll write someday. And I want the store to stay open. So the only way for that to happen is by going, okay, what else would work? We've tried selling the store over the years. We've actually sold it, got it back. And sold it or had contracts 4 or 5 times now, and every time somebody wants to buy it, it's truly up to the powers that be, and generally that's banks. And banks, unfortunately, banks just generally don't want to lend large amounts of money for businesses of this type. It's not my decision. People have to put down a large amount of money, and it's just truly hard to do. So every time we've had a deal that got to the last minute and then fell through for one reason or another. So last year we had the opportunity to travel to Oregon to go out to see my son, and we actually stopped in Billing, Montana, and actually stopped at a bookstore there because if you're traveling you have to stop at bookstores. That's kind of the rule. And we found one in a downtown area that was a co-op, and it got me thinking about, wow, that's a way to maybe make a difference in our town and do the same thing. So we've kind of fashioned this after what we saw as something successful that might be a doable thing, and I've been thinking about it ever since last year. So I'm going to talk about co-ops now. So how many of you know what a co-op is? Just okay, half of you. That's good. Co-ops, as a general rule, and I'm sorry if I leaked to my left, a for-profit or non-profit business that is owned by members and shareholders, basically is the dictionary definition. If you think of a credit union, NPR, Georgia Public Broadcasting, REI, some community banks, those are all co-ops in some form or fashion. Some are non-profit, some are for-profit. What it is many hands working to own a business, and like I said, for-profit or not, and keep it going. But there's so many different benefits that come along with it. In our case, what it would mean would be selling, and again, remember, nothing is written in stone until it's completely done. Hey, that's it. And we're going to sell probably 200 shares of our business. Those business shares would be owned by members and shareholders. Members would be people that support, again, like NPR or anything that you support, that you're just helping to maintain a business. And it's like, we really want to see you stay, so let me give you some money towards that. For membership, you actually will get more than you're spending on your, we could call it a donation, but it's basically a support, a supporting member. And you probably will have a right to have your voice heard and attend meetings. But then there's also shareholders. The shareholder is made up of a board, president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, a regular entity, a legal entity, a corporation that is owned by the shareholders. The shareholders will be the ones making the decisions. My hope, of course, will be that nothing changes because everybody likes it the way it is. But I'm sure there will be some changes, probably not that significant, but things to help make the business even better than what it is today. And so the people that actually own the shares will be the ones to profit, unless they decide it's going to be a non-profit. But anybody that's buying in, basically, whatever they're putting out for a share will actually be given back to them, hopefully, by dividends from profit. And if anything should happen later down the road, maybe, 1, 3, 5, 10, 20 years later, at some point, if the business ever decides to dissolve, all the money would go to the shareholders. So your money, if you look to invest it, is just that. It's an investment. I can't tell anybody they're going to, get rich. Bookstore owners generally don't get rich, but they're happy.
And you're proof of that.
I'm proof of that. That's right. It's a really wonderful business. It's a stress-free business for the most part, and we just want to see the community basically own the bookstore. So most of the people that will buy shares probably will live in this community. We have so many different things that are coming to our community right now. We have this month, It's March, and we're going to see on the 23rd, they're going to start digging dirt for the park that's across the street. We have a very large park. After the meeting, anybody that wants to see what the plan is, I'm happy to share that with you. Next door to us is the Country Store, which is the oldest building in the county, and that was recently bought by our friend Randy, who owns the event station in this little building here in our parking lot, the photography studio now. And he is wonderful about taking an old building and renovating it and making it into something gorgeous and then reusing it. So there's going to be a custom furniture place in the back that his son is running. He already makes beautiful furniture, so it's going to be like a craftsman space. Up front's going to be retail, and across the street they're also going to be renovating the empty building that's been empty since I bought this building. That basically the floor is dirt, and they're going to make that into another beautiful piece of property, probably retail, possibly restaurant, and we're hearing that they might do something on the rooftop as well to oversee the beautiful park. We already have a brand new restaurant across the street that's doing very well already. They've only been there a few months, and all the reviews are great. We ate dinner there last night. If you haven't gone there, it's Marietta Cafe right across the street. Please support them. On the next street, we have, as long as everything goes well, by the end of the month, we should have a brewery, which is a very, very big thing. Right now, breweries are all the rage. It's going to attract a lot of people that normally might not come to downtown Powder Springs, but they're going to be taking up probably half the whole building that's right next to the Country Store across the street. We also have 60 townhomes that they've already broke ground and are going to be building.
I was just going to say, mention the entertainment district as well.
Part of it. So we have right in the back of the park will be townhomes lining up the street. There, if a lot of you are familiar with the building that's going on over by Publix, there's some townhomes over there which have gone from, when they started building them, 110,000. Now they're selling for over 200,000 and almost finished. These are going to be from the 300,000. So we're talking about a little more upscale homes. And we're also hope to have that behind us too, possibly retail and back on the floors, and upstairs being apartments or condos or something. So we have a lot going on. The park is going to be wonderful. It's going to have a little amphitheater stage, bathrooms, splash pads for the kids, lots of sculptures that are interactive, like climbable art, permanent ping pong tables. There's going to be so many really cool things out there. And the 4th of July celebration that we are used to having every year, which they paused last year, but I think is coming back this year. That's where basically 5, 10, 15,000 people come to meet up every year for the 4th of July, but now we'll have a really big place to meet up, and it will be so much more because we're in the heart of it. They just last Monday passed a open container law. And so our new restaurant across the street already serves beer and wine, and with the brewery coming and everything else, like we have a small entertainment district, which we are in. So it gives, again, another opportunity for us to have just something wonderful going on. All with keeping that quaint downtown feel. We don't want to be something big full of chains. We want to stay small, but we want to have lots of things to do, and you want to have that walkability. So right in our own backyard or front yard or side yards, we're going to have all these really great and groovy things. So we're really looking forward to it. So basically you're going to have an opportunity to own a business, if you're interested, be part of a business that's going to be sustained by the community, well shopped. We already are. We're profitable. There's no reason that we can't see that we're going to be more profitable if we have feet on the ground, because right now, even though we have probably 30 to 40,000 cars a day move by our store, a lot of them don't stop, because most people want to go to one thing and then be able to walk around and stroll around and do other things. So that's coming very, very soon. Right now we're a destination, and we love that people come here pretty much on a regular basis, which for some people is once a year, for some people it's once a week. And that's just the nature of a bookstore. But sadly, the bad news is that for other bookstores, we have another bookshop in Smyrna, another bookshop in Marietta. All this month is pretty much their last month. And bookstores are dwindling. A lot of it is due to rent, not being able to pay your rent because the rent keeps going up every year. They're strip centers, and a lot of real estate is owned by corporations, and corporations don't really care about the businesses. They often just think, oh, it's money, we'll just keep raising it until they can no longer afford it. I'm not really sure why that happens, but it's very hard to stay in business when your rent consistently goes up. So we're fortunate that we live in the West Cobb area is definitely, we have a great clientele all about, but we can stay probably at that level of affordability in this area, no matter what. So the co-op would actually be the co-op is just for the business. It is not for the building, just because that's always a question that seems to come up. But the co-op would actually rent the building from the bookstore, the owners of the building, whomever that is. Let's see. On your, I gave out flyers to most of you have. There you go. There's volunteer opportunities. So a lot of people wonder, well, if I'm a part of this, am I just giving money, or do I have to work in the store? The store will be run by actual employees, and the employees will take care of the day-to-day things. We will hope that most our shareholders will also volunteer their time in some way. But we know that it's not it doesn't mean you have to come to the store and shelve books. It means that you can support us by going on social media and letting people know, hey, I own a piece of the bookstore, so that's great. So now we have, instead of just me hollering from the rooftops, we have a lot of other people that are sharing, a place to go. We have working in the store is great. 4 hours a month is what we're kind of looking for people to commit to. So 4 hours a month, even a couple hours twice a month, whatever you can do. There's definitely work at the store that always needs to be done. We get in 1,000 books a week often, and just keeping the books down to a behaved amount. Basically, they have to be processed, gone through. We donate a lot. We have to sort a lot. We have to label everything, clean them sometimes. So just to keep up with that flow, it just does take a lot of hands. So we're always looking for volunteers. From our volunteers is a lot of times where we get our help from, because basically to work in a bookstore, you should love books, and you should be able to help a customer out and just point them to the right section, or be able to talk about books. The other things there are book signings and other book events. One of the things we do also is the farmers market. I run that outside in the parking lot, which that may be moved to the other side of the building. Again, our neighbors trying to make a kind of an event space between. So we have last 2 years we've had the farmers market. This will be our 3rd year. It's another community-based business that brings people downtown, and when they're downtown, then they have another place to shop right outside our door. So it's not it's an asset to us, and if we can keep it going, having extra hands always helps with that. So that could be another volunteer opportunity. We have so many local artists that we would love to be able to display, promote, and sell their art. It's one more thing that by myself I just can't do it all. So, but we could have a little art community that volunteers could, help set up artists, put up art, take down art. So there's a lot of things that we don't do now, or we have done in the past, that I just can't keep up with. So that could be another volunteer thing. And signings. We do a lot of signings already. So at our farmers market, we have an author booth. Every Thursday from 4 to 8 p.m. is our farmers market, and we have a lot of authors that have the opportunity to come, usually 1 to 3 at a time. Generally, I would say we have 2 almost every week, and they're coming from all over the area, and some even from further in the state, some even out of state. Books have been around for just a couple minutes, and even with e-readers and people that want instant gratification by going online. Well, I can't tell you how many people have walked in here and they'll touch a book and say, "Oh yeah, I really want to get it," and then they look online to see if they can get it cheaper, or they go, "Okay, yeah, that's the book I want it," and order it, and you're thinking, well, you have to pay $4 shipping and hope that you're going to get it on time, and it's sitting right in front of you. Why on earth would you do that? There's that instant gratification world that we live in right now. For a lot of people, it does work, but basically, most customers, when they come in here, they're just coming in here to look and browse and be de-stressed and relaxed and enjoy the atmosphere and get a cheap book, because our books are pretty inexpensive. And that we give credit for the books. That's one of the things that our model of business also is a very low cost business. Something I didn't address before is because we get, I had said we get about 1,000 books sometimes a week. We'll get in so many books, we give store credit, but for the credit that we're giving out, it keeps us from having to buy inventory and guess what people want. Because as a new bookstore, I have so many new bookstore friends, and I truly don't know how they do it, but I know when I order books, the biggest, whatever's coming out that you think is going to be the new hottest thing, it's good for about 5 minutes. And about as soon as they hit my shelf, then somebody's, Harper Lee's last book that they put out, we were so positive, I ordered, this is a lot for me, 8 copies. Brand new, got them in, was just like, they're going to be sold out in no time. Well, within 2 weeks of them being released, someone said Atticus Finch was a racist. And there went the whole thing, and I still have 4 of those books, and they were like 3 years ago. So, again, I don't have to guess. When things come in, we're not paying for the inventory. That's a big, big bonus. We have hand-me-ups across the street, another great model of you're taking stuff on consignment. If it doesn't sell, you're not out anything other than a little space. All the books on our shelves have to pay rent, so we turn them over pretty rapidly. If there's not enough room, basically, okay, we look at the date on the back and say, okay, you've been here long enough, out the door with you. We put them on sale, or they go to the free cart. We give away a ton of books. We donate to the community. But we keep putting new things out, so every time you come in, it's not going to be the same thing on the shelves. So we have a really low-cost business model, and that's why we're profitable. Any other questions?
Hi. You said the May 1st. You mentioned that date is
May 1st is my personal deadline. Of course, everything can change. I might move it up, and I might push it back. But within 60 days of when I just put this out, last Friday, a week ago Friday, and I have, because I've been talking about this for in my head for so long, I have to just give myself a goal and just say, okay, I'm going to give this 60 days. If 60 days I can't get a good sense that this is going to move forward, then I will start considering closing and to move on.
Yeah, and it is a good sense that a list of people who make commitments.
Yes, and the commitment is just a verbal. Yeah, I'd really like to do that. That's what I'm going to hand out afterwards. Is I think I might want to just be a supporting member and keep shopping, or I want to buy in at this level, that level. But again, I'm not taking any money from anybody until I can see we have enough commitment to move ahead.
So you're looking for
it's
commitment and interest through
Yes.
these meetings, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And we are going to, we're taping this today, and hopefully it will be viewable or listenable, and we're going to get it out online, because that's the only problem I have is it's hard to get. I mean, this is wonderful that y'all showed up, but we have 14,000 people that live in Powder Springs, and probably 75% still don't know there's a bookstore here in 14 years. So you have to get the word out, and just like our business, we have so many customers in our database, but every single day without fail, we have new customers that come in and just say, oh, did you just open? Or I drive by here. My standard, the best one I get on the most regularly is, I've been driving by here for years, and I finally had a minute to stop. And I had someone a few doors down. I can see their house from here. It took them 10 years to know we were here. So sometimes we're, life is busier than it used to be, I think, and just people, they drive by and we just don't see. We're on the phone, which we shouldn't be. It's a law now. But we're just so busy that it's just hard to stop. And so every day we get more customers, and I'm pretty much committed to the fact that I just need to get you through the threshold, and you're a customer. We don't have any bad reviews. Everybody seems to like what we have here. We just need more people to support it, truthfully.
Well, I'll be glad to put it on my Facebook. Save the Bookworm.
And the other thing is, too, that's the very sad part about losing all these bookstores. We won't have a bookstore, kind of in our path from here to Alabama. There won't be any bookstores left if we go, because we are going to be the last one. Well, with the other ones going away, that actually increases our business again too, because there's fewer and fewer places to go. So it's a very sad thing, and we never want to see any of our friends close their stores. But reality also is that we will probably have more business because we're the only place. But bookstores, in my opinion, are like antique stores where you go to wander in and find what you're looking for, and you a lot of times don't even know what it is you're looking for. So you're going to go from store to store to store, but there just aren't that many. Yes.
Make sure that online is coming with the bookstore, correct? Are you keeping
some part of the online will be coming, possibly all of it, and that all again depends on everything. But yes, there will definitely be an online presence, because really that is a big part of it.
Like existing account that has the
again to be determined, depending on the thing with the online is that you have to remember that people have to be able to run that part of the business, because that's a whole other thing. And because we have another building, the co-op would have to decide if they want to continue on that. But yes, it's definitely going to be at least some, if not all, included. Somebody else read.
Well, I was going to ask about the online business and the other site, and I know you had said earlier this is a first step, and at some point when you know what the interest is, then you can talk. Well, what is the net profit?
Right. So
and
yes, and that's
what proportion is online and so forth. And
right. We'll have
so
financials and all those fun things that go along with selling a business. Those will be definitely an overview on basically how what kind of money do we make, what is the profitability, and again, it just doesn't even make sense to go there until we're going to the next step. But it'll be a couple weeks, and we hope to have more meetings for the next level, the next step.
And then the next step, attendance, would be people who are committed.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
And you said there would be no more than 200 shares.
As far, I'm between 150 and 200, but I'm pretty sure 200 will be the better amount, and that's just so there's more operating funds available. I know what I need from the business, but it's nowhere near the 200.
Okay.
So I just feel like it'd be better to have money, even though we're sustainable and profitable right now. With a lot more hands, there's so many other things we could do that money would come in real handy to have as a base. Right now we have kind of 2.5 employees, and I don't know who's going to stay and who's going to leave, so we might be hiring more people. And again, depends on if we want to extend the hours. All those fun things are to be determined by the next step. Right now, I know every time I walk out the door when the restaurant is open, because they're only open from 4 to 10 most nights until they get open during the day. When I'm walking out the door, I have people trying to walk in to the store at 6 o'clock, so I already know we could be open later. But I'm kind of just done, at that hour. So, and when you have more stores open, it's easier to stay open later. So that would be probably something that's, I would suggest. And again, I can't be on the board, but so I can just advise.
You made a distinction between the store itself, the building itself, versus the business. Can you help me understand?
So the building, I own the building, but the building is not part of the 200 chairs. Only this in-store business. So I had said earlier we have 48,000 items in here. We have in the store probably about $300,000 worth of saleable merchandise retail, our retail, which is half price. So again, that will be almost $500,000. Plus, we have another. We can fill it again. So the shares that are being sold are basically gonna, yeah, it's a very.
You're buying
the
already
existing
name.
Right, the name, the goodwill, the
Inventory.
customer base. We have printed in our
Location.
computers.
And location.
Yeah, and the location, and we are the best location down here. I can tell you, I mean, there's nobody downtown that will tell you otherwise. I mean, you can see us, when they put this road here, Lewis Road here, when people come up this way, we're right there. The city park, this is the city's parking lot. It is not my parking lot, which is wonderful because I have, someone trips and falls. It is not my fault. So, we're not going to be sued by anybody out there, but we have the use of the parking lot, which is wonderful. As everything develops, and the park, comes in across the street, there will be parking around the park, but there will also probably be more parking this way as well, depending on what happens with.
So as a
Putting in.
co-op, we would be paying rent.
Right. Just
the
like
building.
I pay my mortgage payment now.
Oh,
And so, it's basically the same thing. Instead of a mortgage, it'll be rent. So basically, after everything comes out, what expenses come out every month, that's where the profitability is. And depending on if we're profit or not profit.
So the 200 shares you're talking about, is that preferred shares or is
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yes.
And so it's like an unlimited common share.
Yes. So, and that's another good point, though, is that whenever we get a new customer in, and of course all our existing 7,000 or 8,000 customers will be offered, every time someone comes in the shop, it's like, would you like to sign up to be a member? You'll get a discount all the time when you're a member, plus the coupon book. So that would be a great reason to constantly have more influx of money coming in to support the store. And that's something you can do when you're a community co-op, because we want to see it stay, so you want to be a part of the community and have a place to go.